my name is Nia Pierce. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at SheAttack.com, and we are here with James Phinney of Motiga. We just had an opportunity to play Gigantic, which is a lot of fun. Very different type of game for me, personally, from the type of games that I play, but I enjoyed it from what I did, and I liked the different types of characters and things like that. So I'm going to ask Mr. Phinney, so what was the inspiration behind Gigantic, and how did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, so it was a few different things that we were looking at with Gigantic. We knew we wanted to make a competitive game and wanted to try to make one that could be broadly appealing, like a lot of people could get into and have fun with, and also do something new and fresh, and something that could really work for serious competitive play as well. Mm-hmm. And so there are obviously a few different challenges there. We settled on the idea of having giant creatures in it pretty early on. So Gigantic, for those who aren't familiar with it, has 5 players on each team. You each have a unique hero you pick at the beginning of the game, and that's who you're playing throughout, and you level up and make choices about the characters you level up. But you also have this gigantic creature called a Guardian, and you're trying to kill the enemy team's Guardian, they're trying to kill yours. The thing that we looked at with the heroes was kind of taking characters from different gaming genres and saying, what if we brought in all these different guys so that somebody who likes playing shooters has a character that really feels comfortable then, somebody who's not into that, maybe doesn't have those same Twitch aiming skills, or maybe somebody who's interested in more sophisticated skill-to-skill interaction and stuff, or somebody who wants to play a support character. But basically, a whole broad range of different kind of gaming styles could come in and all play together or against each other.
Right, for sure. So I know you mentioned a little bit earlier today, you wanted to kind of make Gigantic a type of game that anybody can play, whether they're competitive or they're just kind of jumping in and playing it for fun. So considering how competitive it is, because I mean we just played it, it gets pretty competitive.
It can get intense.
So are you guys looking to get into eSports with Gigantic, possibly, maybe?
I think that's definitely a possibility, and it's something certainly from a development standpoint we think about a lot, making sure that it's a game that's good enough for that.
Right.
In terms of whether or not it actually enters that space, whether or not there are big money tournaments or things like that, that's not something we're planning for right now.
Right.
We think that the right way to do that is try to make a game that can be that, and then build up community and see where it goes from there.
Right. Okay. And so I understand that you guys are trying to put Gigantic on Xbox One and Windows 10.
Yeah.
So what was the thought process behind making it available for those platforms in particular?
Well, it's a business partnership with Microsoft, certainly. But for us, it was also a really cool opportunity. We started out Gigantic just as a PC development, and we hadn't really been thinking about console necessarily. But we knew fairly early on that we had a game that would translate well. I think you guys were playing with a controller, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it works really well controller, it works really well keyboard and mouse. Basically shooter controls for both platforms, which the nice thing about that is those are really well established at this point, how you should control a shooter, whether it's keyboard, mouse, or controller. And our lead gameplay engineer, actually, he'd been working on console shooters somewhat recently, and so kind of just for fun. He'd set it up so you could play either way. The tuning maybe wasn't all there, but it was kind of both there. And so we started to explore, just for funding reasons, the possibility of doing a console version of it.
Right.
And when we talked to Microsoft, it really just sort of lined up really well with their ambitious and not yet announced plans to unify all kind of gaming across Windows 10 and Xbox One.
Right.
And so they saw an opportunity there, talked to us about, hey, what if Gigantic was on both of these things, and started to share with us their vision of, one account. And Gigantic's a game where, because we're coming late enough in that process, we're able to build it with those things in mind. So like, if you earn some stuff on your account on Windows 10, let's say you just have a PC at home, and then go over to a friend's house and they've got an Xbox One, you could play on your account there with all your stuff.
Right.
And let's say you're playing there and you decide to unlock some new skin for a hero, get back home, boot up your PC, you've got that stuff there.
That's awesome.
And they're doing a lot too in terms of like unifying friends lists and all these kind of things to just really break down all those barriers. I think they recently announced that you can play, there's good gaming support for keyboard and mouse on the Xbox One now. And of course you can play with a controller on a PC. And so it's just getting rid of all the barriers. We got really excited about that part.
Right. Now, is there going to be cross-platform play, or how is that going to be integrated between the two platforms?
Yeah, so, as I was sort of joking with people here, the setup, the switch between the two is really complicated if you pick up the controller. We actually had one of the guys that was playing in that match, we started the game and he was keyboard and mouse and said, oh, actually, I'd prefer a controller. Went and grabbed one from another PC, plugged it in, just USB port, and then just handed him the controller.
Oh, nice.
HUD switched over, everything switched. Pretty seamless. For us, though, there have been concerns for us because we do want it to work well. It's a competitive game. It is PvP. Can you really balance the kind of speed and precision of mouse and keyboard shooter controls with controller? We've been pretty skeptical about that, and so what we've always said is we would look at it as opt-in, so players would choose to be in an environment where they're playing with people with both kind of devices.
Right.
And it probably has more to do with input device than what system you're playing on. So we might get rid of the sort of swap on the fly, which input device in the middle of a match. But we're trying to keep an open mind, and really beta is going to be a time for us to explore some of that. We've certainly got advocates on the team now that we're farther along, and that the controllers have been tuned that say, look, we can just play all these together, and they play pretty well.
Nice.
So we're going to see where it goes. We're going to take a lot of player feedback and try a few things out, figure out what's going to be the best experience for the community.
Right. And so do you guys have a target for Gigantic as far as the release window?
Yes and no. Obviously internally we've got some very firm dates on, when this is supposed to be and when's that supposed to be done, and sort of, okay, when all these features are done, we can go into open beta. When these features are done, we could release. But, we just went into closed beta yesterday. Really, from here on out, it's more about constantly evaluating the state of the game. Is it good enough for us to go into the next stage? Is it good enough for us to invite another X number of players? And so it's all going to be driven by our measurements and our evaluation of where the game is from here on out. We're pretty far along. The closed beta build has 15 playable heroes in it. The demo build you're playing here actually had 16, but there's one of them we've pulled out to kind of rework. That's always an important thing. Be open to feedback and to be honest with yourself about where you are with each one of the characters. And we've got several maps that are playable to one degree or another, and so we're pretty close. But I really think it's going to be a matter less of when the content is done and more a matter of when everything feels polished enough.
Nice. Okay. Well, hopefully I get into the beta because that was fun.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for talking with me. Is there anything else any other information that maybe we didn't touch on that you would like for everyone to know?
Probably I really should mention gogigantic.com is the website, and people can sign up for the closed beta right now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The game is awesome. Hopefully you guys out there get a chance to check out the closed beta. We had a great time. So that concludes our interview, and we'll see you guys next time.